I am Cam Rogers. Hit me up on Twitter at Mr. Rogers99 for the latest coverage on Dez Bryant, of course. So, hot off the press, I have my 5 best fits for Dez Bryant. I'll count you down from 5 to 1, but let's start things off from a general perspective. Where do we stand with the number 1 free agent out there in the NFL? Dez Bryant is taking his time. That's basically a summary of what's going on here. He's working on his own accord, not some other team's agenda. He has fielded offers from the likes of the Baltimore Ravens and Cleveland Browns. He's visited with the Raiders, according to sources. He has reportedly told people he will be joining the New England Patriots. That came out after Dez Bryant went to a Beyoncé concert with Jerry Jones. Local Boston sports radio host Scott Zolak said that Dez will sign with the Patriots next month, although that was prior to the Josh Gordon trade, I might add. Dez has publicly said before that he has gotten multiple offers from teams out there and a lot of interest on the open market. Dez Bryant is playing the game, folks. He's working on his own agenda, on his own decision-making. He's not in any sort of hurry to join an NFL team right now. He even said a decision could come down later this year. I mean, why not? Players get hurt, players get suspended, players disappoint, become busts, all of this stuff. Why not ride out the season a little bit if you're Dez Bryant, see how all the chips fall, and then let the demand rise as the supply decreases? Now, it is odd, I will say, to hear news about, like, Breshad Perriman getting signed, and Jordan Matthews getting signed, and like Benny Fowler and Corey Coleman getting signed, although those two are without jobs right now. They're getting contracts. Dez Bryant has yet to make a decision. Do you guys really think nobody is offering him anything? Come on, especially when Perriman is now on a team. So in that vein, I think Dez is waiting for the perfect situation, the right fit, the right contract, and all of this. He's taking everything into perspective. He's chilling out, watching football at home, hanging with his kids, whatever, enjoying life. He'll wait as long as he needs to. With that said, updated list of 5 teams that could sign him this season, all right? We welcome number 5 on the list, the Washington Redskins. Our friends at BetDSI have the latest Super Bowl 53 odds, as you see at the top of your screen as well. So the main issue for the Redskins is that, like I mentioned, Breshad Perriman recently signed. They also signed Michael Floyd. But those two aren't even close to the ability of Dez Bryant's, especially on the football field. Perriman could be cut in 2 weeks. The guy is Drops McGee. He can't create separation, which was his calling card coming out of UCF. And he's always hurt, it seems. And then Michael Floyd, well, he has off-the-field issues at times, and injury issues as well. So those two could be off Washington within the next month. So just bear that. And then you have Dez publicly expressing interest in the Washington Redskins in the same tweet as he expressed interest in the New England Patriots. And by the way, joining Washington, look at that depth chart there. Crowder, Dotson, Paul Richardson. Dez could eventually become the wide receiver number 2, maybe even the best wide receiver on the depth chart there for Washington. And we know that Dez wants his revenge on the Dallas Cowboys. Well, we're talking about an NFC East team right now in the Washington Redskins. 2 primetime-ish games for the Redskins against the Dallas Cowboys this year. Week 7, one of the late windows on CBS, and then on Thanksgiving against the Dallas Cowboys too. So relatively national games there for Dez Bryant, which I'm sure is part of the pull for him. And as for the talent at wide receiver, I like Crowder, I like Paul Richardson, I like Dotson. None of those guys have emerged as a true wide receiver number 1 on this team. So should the Redskins go ahead and sign Dez Bryant? Go ahead, type away Y for yes, N for no. I released my 5 best fits minutes before the announcement came out about the Redskins signing Breshad Perriman and Michael Floyd, so I was like, oh, crap. But you know what? I really don't care, because those guys might be off the team. So I'm fine with keeping the Redskins on this list here, particularly because Dez has mentioned them by name. All right, so Redskins are there at number 5 on my list. Let's go to number 4. Dark horse team here. I get it, they're 0-2. They look pathetic and putrid, but there's a need. And I do think this team is better than what its record indicates. The Arizona Cardinals. So, yeah, you look back at the tape against the LA Rams on Sunday, and it was pretty pathetic. There's no doubt about it. Sam Bradford was bad. David Johnson was bad. The defense was gashed, especially on that front seven. But perhaps head coach Steve Wilks thinks this team is better than what we all actually perceive, and maybe could still be a playoff team. Now, only 11% of NFL teams in history have made the postseason after starting 0-2, which is so interesting to me because if you go 1-1, you're at 44%. Such a big difference there. Anyway, Bradford, I think he's still a capable quarterback. David Johnson is one of the best running backs out there. And the defense has talent. Hassan Reddick, first-round pick. Chandler Jones, the sack master himself. Patrick Peterson, one of the premier corners in the NFL. And the wide receiver depth chart is just downright sad, especially when you consider that Larry Fitz is dealing with a hamstring injury, and that could nag on all season long. Chad Williams as your wide receiver number 2. Christian Kirk is just a rookie. J.J. Nelson is a reserve at best. You get what I'm going for here. The Arizona Cardinals may rip off a few wins, may realize, okay, we're a team to be reckoned with in the NFC. Let's get Dez Bryant to put us over the top as a legit contender. Now, again, this is fantasy land a little bit. That's why I consider the Cardinals a dark horse team to sign Dez. That's also why they're at number 4 on my list, too. But keep them in mind. They may emerge at some point. So should the Cardinals go ahead and sign Dez Bryant, go ahead and vote. 1 for yes, 2 for no. From a need perspective, the answer should be yes, especially when you look at that depth chart that we just showed you. It was not very pretty. So Washington's at 5. Arizona Cardinals are at number 4. I'll get to number 3 on my list, but you better believe you'll be playing Dez Bryant on FanDuel at some point this season, folks. Go ahead and sign up now to get ready. FanDuel.com/chatsports. Put $5 down. You get $20 for free, $25 to play with when you go ahead and check out the Week 3 games, Week 4, Week 5. Eventually, when Dez signs, you can play Dez on FanDuel as well. I know I will be. All right, let's go to number 3 here on the list. We have the Cleveland Browns. Very much have been in the middle of the Dez Bryant sweepstakes before. They had offered Dez a little under $5 million, according to Pro Football Talk. Apparently, that wasn't enough, or there were other reasons he didn't sign. The Browns are now without, by the way, Josh Gordon and Corey Coleman, 2 players we thought would be on the team at this point in the season. That is not the case. And John Dorsey has expressed confidence before in resuming discussions with Dez Bryant, resuming negotiations. Well, the Browns better start winning some games for Dez to be enticed to go to the dog pound, because the reality is the Browns are not executing. The Browns don't have a killer instinct to win football games. We're not just talking about a killer instinct in the playoffs. That'd be the Cincinnati Bengals. We're talking about a killer instinct to win a freaking regular season NFL game. The Browns just lack it. And the depth chart here, yeah, there's Landry, there's Callaway. I like these guys. Damian Ratley, Rashard Higgins. The main buzz out of Cleveland was, well, the Browns are okay with their young wide receivers. They don't want to throw a wrench into all of that by signing Dez Bryant. Well, the Browns are on my list here because, A, from a need perspective, B, they have negotiated with Dez before, C, Dez actually went to the facilities, which is something most of the NFL teams out there can't say. So maybe there's something there. You know, Dez Bryant was reportedly looking at schools in the Cleveland area. That's how close the Browns and Dez were to getting a deal done. So should Cleveland go ahead and sign Dez Bryant? Vote, vote, vote. Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Hit me up on Twitter. 3 for yes, 4 for no for Dez. All right, so there's a gap here between 1 and 2 and the rest of them. All right, these top 2 teams make ultimate sense to sign Dez Bryant, even in light of the recent news for this team. Philadelphia at number 2. Yeah, they signed Jordan Matthews. I don't give a crap. The guy sucks. I mean, I can't believe he's actually employed. So it's the same logic here with the Washington Redskins. The Redskins just signed Breshad Perriman. That's great. He won't be on the team in 2 weeks. Same can be said about Jordan Matthews, perhaps, in a few weeks as well, although Mike Wallace was put on IR. Dez Bryant is better than Jordan Matthews. That is just a fact. So you have that. You have Alshon Jeffrey dealing with injury problems. That leaves Nelson Aguilar as your top wide receiver, and he's a slot guy. That's not what you want when you're Carson Wentz coming back from an ACL, hoping to put up some points and avoid the ultimate Super Bowl hangover, if you will. The Eagles are 1-1 on the year. They are probably going to win the NFC East, although I am least confident about that prediction than any other division in the NFL. I think Dallas will very much be in the conversation. The problem also here is that the Eagles can't offer Dez a whole lot of money, which may be a deterrent for Dez, but at the same time, Philadelphia can offer Dez a 1-year, prove-it kind of deal. They don't have to guarantee anything at this point in the season in terms of money. And the Eagles and the Cowboys both battle later this year in some prime time windows. One actually in the Sunday Night Football slot. If you sit here and say that that's not a poll for Dez Bryant, you're crazy. Dez wants the bright lights. He wants to ball out on the Dallas Cowboys. He wants to beat Byron Jones down the football field. He wants to beat Awuzie and Woods and these secondary players for the Dallas Cowboys and break headlines and get 9 receptions for 110 yards and 3 touchdowns and all that stuff. Whether that's a reality or not is, moot to the point here because Dez wants to do that. And that's part of the equation here. So keep that in mind. For the Philadelphia Eagles to grab Dez Bryant, that would be something. So should they do it? 4 for yes, 5 for no. Let me know in the comments section what you had to say about Philadelphia. They won week 1, okay? They beat out the Atlanta Falcons. They lost week 2 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which was a bit of a stunner. What's going to happen going forward for Philadelphia? Maybe an addition, by the way, of Dez Bryant. We shall see. So Philly is at number 2. My number 1 team to sign Dez Bryant in 2018 has been the team that I have always been talking about, the New England Patriots. Bet DSI Super Bowl 53 odds of plus 600. They did just trade for Josh Gordon recently. They also just cut Corey Coleman. They also just cut Benny Fowler. It's quite clear the Patriots have trust issues at the wide receiver position, making, count them, 28 transactions at that position alone, which is tied for the most in the NFL. This pairing, Dez to New England, makes too much sense for it not to happen, and I will continue to ride what you all call this conspiracy until Dez signs elsewhere. Because, guys, Josh Gordon is no sure thing. Let's be honest. The guy has not played a full 16 games since 2012, okay? So you insert Josh Gordon into this depth chart here, and yeah, there's upside to be had with Gordon, but there's Hogan as your number 1 guy. Edelman's still suspended, and who knows if he can get right back into the swing of things when he returns in week 5. Let's be honest here. So let's say Josh Gordon does not pan out. He played in 5 games last year. None in 2015. None in 2016 either. 5 games in 2014. Let's say this whole trade is just a big-time mistake for the New England Patriots. Now if you're Nick Caserio, the general manager, now if you're Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft and Tom Brady, you're sitting back and saying to yourself, well, crap, we made a mistake here by getting Josh Gordon. And by the way, I am a proponent of the trade that the Patriots made. I think a 5th-round pick is fine. I think Gordon has a lot of upside, and that's something New England needs because these wide receivers right now are not creating separation. But again, if Gordon fails, what do you got? Who's your red zone target outside of Rob Gronkowski? Bring it, because it ain't Edelman. It's not Hogan. And don't even get me started with Matthew Slater and all these other guys. No. Dez Bryant can be the red zone alternative to New England. The Patriots have brought in veteran wide receivers before that, on the surface, didn't make much sense. Chad Ochocinco, Michael Floyd, Brandon Lloyd. Randy Moss worked out pretty darn good, but also like veteran defenders. Albert Hainsworth, that was a joke. That didn't work out. So the Patriots have made risks like this before. They're going to do it again. They're going to sign Dez Bryant. The Patriots are my number team for him. Dez Bryant has been vocal about joining New England. It's going to happen at some point. It could happen in October. It could happen in early November. It could happen on Thanksgiving. Who the heck knows? But at some point, Dez Bryant will be wearing the blue, silver, and white. So New England is at 1, Philadelphia at 2. Cleveland checks in at number 3. We got the Cardinals at 4, and the Washington Redskins there at number 5. My latest batch of 5 best fits for Dez Bryant.